All right, let's talk about that moment. You know the one. You're staring at a brand new, totally empty project folder, and that first step feels like a mountain. Well, today we're diving into Claude Code, an AI tool that's built to be your coding partner, right from that very first line of code all the way to the final build. So, let's see how it actually works.
And look, this isn't just another shiny new tool. As developer Cole Madin puts it, this really is the future. AI for coding is one of the most exciting things happening in generative AI, period. So if you're ready to see what the future of building software actually looks and feels like, you are in exactly the right place.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to meet our new AI teammate. Then, we'll get into the essential setup. After that, we'll go from a plan to actual code, learn how to manage the conversation, unlock some serious power moves, and finally, take this whole thing beyond the terminal. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, let's meet your AI teammate. And you gotta understand, this is more than just a tool. It's a fundamentally new way to build.
You know that one person on every team? The one who's just a complete whiz on the terminal. They can fly through commands, navigate the entire codebase, and get things done in seconds without ever touching a mouse. Yeah, that's Claude Code. That's your new AI teammate.
And this brings us to a really important idea. It's what's known as an agentic coding tool. Now, agentic is just a fancy way of saying it's not a passive helper. It's an active assistant that lives and breathes right there in your terminal, understands your project, and can actually execute tasks for you, all from plain English commands.
And honestly, this is the real game changer. Most AI assistants you've seen are probably IDE plugins or web apps, right? They're kind of disconnected from your actual live project environment. Claude Code is totally different. It runs in the terminal. It's part of your workflow. It can run commands, manage files, and interact with your project's environment just like you can.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually get this thing running? Well, that brings us to section 2, the essential setup. We're going to lay the groundwork for success right now.
And you're not going to believe how easy this is. It's literally 3 steps. First, you install it globally with npm. Second, you just cd into your project folder. And third, you type Claude and hit enter. That's it. You're in. You're ready to go.
Now, before we start prompting, we need to talk about one of the most critical concepts, its long-term memory. There's a special file called claude.md, and this file acts as the persistent brain for your project. Think of it as Claude's own personal cheat sheet for everything it needs to know about your codebase. So what exactly do you put in this project brain? Well, all the key info. A high-level overview, how to run the project and its tests, what libraries and versions you're using, any big architectural decisions, and even your team's coding style. Giving Claude this briefing up front makes it a seriously effective teammate from the moment you start. All right, we're installed, Claude is briefed. Now for the fun part, actually building something. This is section 3, from plan to code. And the absolute key here is to think before you build.
So you're there. You've got that blank screen, a new project. What's the very first move you make?
You start with a plan. It's so tempting to just dive right in and start asking for code, right? To be what some people call a vibe coder. But trust me on this, that's the slow way to go fast. The more time you spend planning up front, the quicker and more effectively you can execute. It is the single best strategy. So instead of saying, write me a button, you do something like this. Check out this amazing prompt from developer David Andre. He asks Claude to help design the codebase structure, but then he adds this magic phrase, take a deep breath and make sure to ultra-think about this like a world-class engineer would. That kind of phrasing actually pushes the AI into a deeper reasoning mode, giving you a way stronger foundation to build on.
Okay, so you've got your master plan. Now, as you start working, you're going to be having a long back and forth with your AI teammate. And that's where we need to talk about its memory. Welcome to Section 4, Managing the Conversation.
Claude Code has a massive 200,000 token context window. To put that in perspective, that's like 150,000 words or a 300-page book. This is its short-term memory for your current session. Everything you type, every file it reads, every answer it gives, it all goes into this window. But even a huge memory can get cluttered.
I love this analogy. Think of your context window like a jigsaw puzzle. If you keep throwing in pieces from a bunch of different puzzle boxes, you're just making it impossible to solve the one you're working on. Keeping that context clean and focused is absolutely crucial. And luckily, you have two key commands to do this. First, you've got /clear. That's your hard reset button. It completely wipes the slate clean. You use this when you're totally switching gears to a new task. But the really clever one is /compact. This isn't a reset, it's a smart summary. It'll condense your whole conversation down to the key points, freeing up space while holding on to all the important context. It's perfect for those long sessions where you need to stay on topic.
Now for the really cool part. Everything we've talked about so far has been about working with an AI teammate. In Section 5, we're going to talk about how to build an entire AI team.
Yeah, you heard me right. You can literally build your own team of specialized AIs right inside your terminal. This is where a feature called sub-agents comes into play, and believe me, it is a total game changer.
Just imagine this for a second. You can create a specialist for just about anything. You need a new React component, so you ask your React expert. You need to check for security flaws, you call on your security analyst. You can even have a documentation writer or a test engineer. Each one has its own specialized knowledge, and the main Claude agent acts like a project manager, delegating the work to the right specialist. It's wild.
Okay, so working interactively in the terminal is incredibly powerful, but what if you didn't even have to be there? That brings us to our final section, taking this beyond the terminal and putting your AI teammate on autopilot.
This is all possible because of an SDK that lets you run Claude in what's called headless mode. Basically, it's all the power of Claude without the chat interface, and that unlocks some insane automation possibilities. You can build it into your CI/CD pipeline to do code reviews, create custom GitHub actions that fix bugs automatically, or even integrate this power directly into your own applications.
So let's just step back and think about this. We now have an AI teammate that can help us plan, build, and debug. One that can specialize into an entire team, and can even be put on autopilot to automate tasks. The job of a developer is definitely changing. And that brings us to the final and most important question. If your AI teammate can handle all the routine work, what incredible thing will you create next?